Hello, FSRC. Hopefully I am coming through loud and clear. I'm going to wait to get some thumbs up before we see if this connection is working. If I can get a affirmative from the other room. Okay, I'm up. All right, guys. Hello, FSRC. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Travis Chalemi. I'm with Blooming Sales Tupperware. And what we're doing, Blooming Sales, as part of FSRC for the next several weeks, is going to be doing a tech boot camp. These are some tech classes that we've taught within Blooming Sales Tupperware, but they're also classes that I teach as part of my other job, which is a web communications and marketing person who's worked with different state agencies and companies over the years. And these are just tools over the next, I think we're doing 5 weeks, 5 or 6, I can't recall, that are going to allow you to grow your businesses, but not spend a lot of money, right? And so we are all CEOs of our own Tupperware businesses, but we don't always have CEO money. And so these are tools that can help you to grow your business where you don't have to break the bank to do it, and you don't have to buy a lot of expensive equipment to do it. And so that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to start today with Google Contacts. And the reason I'm starting things off with Google Contacts is because I really do believe that that is probably, out of all of the weeks, all the topics we're going to teach in boot camp, that's the one that I think has the most impact. And the reason for that is because we are in a smaller and smaller global environment now with Tupperware. What that means is back in the day, we might be serving Tupperware customers within our town, within our county, maybe within a region, maybe statewide. But it's gotten to the point now with people moving out of state and Facebook and all of this technology that you are now working with people that are nationwide or worldwide, maybe not worldwide, but certainly throughout the continent. And so we need to leverage some technology in order to keep track of all those customers, because the old way of doing things with sticky notes, so I've got my sticky notes here, right, with writing stuff down on sticky notes and keeping track of our customer information that way, or maybe you have a notebook, right? Where's my notebook here? An address book, right? So you might have an address book where you keep that information back in the day. But it's just reached a point where those typically aren't sufficient for the sort of things that we're looking to try to do. So we introduce some technology to keep track of that. But you guys, it is so much more than just an address book, okay? So what I'm going to show you today is Google Contacts, how to use it as an address book, but also to use it as sort of a lightweight customer management system. And so without further ado, so let me do a little switcherooski here. You guys should now be seeing my desktop here. And so the first thing with Google Contacts that I want to mention, and this is something that will trip some people up because it trips me up from time to time, is there's actually 2 versions of Google Contacts right now. There's the new version and there's the old version. Okay, so what you're seeing on the screen right now, this is the new version. Okay, and you'll notice here in this interface, there's a link over here on the bottom left that is to switch to the old version. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that link here, switch to the old version. So if this is the version that you're seeing here, then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to switch this to the new version. And it's really easy to do. Over here on the left side in this navigation at the bottom, there's a link that says Try Contacts Preview. You're going to want to click on that because a lot of what we're doing today requires the new version. It's been called the preview version for like over a year or two now. Eventually this will be the one that replaces the old version, but we want to make sure that we're working in the new version today. And I probably should have started off with this. If in order to do this, you're going to want to go to contacts.google.com. So that's the URL where you're going to create your account. Now, you may already have a contacts account and not know it, especially if you're an Android device user. Many people who use Android already have a Google account set up, and so it's just requires you to log in to that account. Okay, so once you're in there, what you'll see is something that's pretty sort of standard for a contact manager. We've got all of my contacts listed in here alphabetically, so nothing too surprising there. We have this amazing search box at the top, and we're going to talk a lot about that search box and how you can use that. And then we have some things over here on the side. These may or may not be opened on your particular version, but we have labels. We'll be talking about labels, and then we also have this more feature here, which just allows you to do a couple of different things related to Google Contacts that we'll talk about as well. But for right now, what we're going to start off with is the very simplest part of this, which is adding a new contact. Okay, so I'm going to kind of create a scenario for you. All right, so I'm going to come in here, and there's this giant plus sign down here at the bottom to add a new contact. I'm going to click on that, and what we'll see here is what we would expect when you're creating a contact is it's going to ask you some questions about that contact. So where did this contact come from? Well, this contact came from maybe you were at a vendor event and you had a survey or a drawing of some sort, and they filled that information out. Maybe this was at a party. You ran a party, and these were the guests at the party. Or maybe somebody passed information on to you. You were asking for a referral, and they said, oh, my girlfriend is interested in potentially hosting a party or whatever. Either way, the first thing I want to mention is you really want to make sure your contact information that you're getting is as complete as possible. So often what happens is we get contact information that's incomplete. It's first name, no last name, or email address, no phone number. And really to leverage this process to its full capacity, you really want to make sure that you're getting as much information as possible. So for this contact, we're going to make a fake contact here, and we're going to put in Barney Rubble. So first name Barney, last name Rubble. Okay, so I'm at a party. I'm talking to Barney Rubble, and Barney's given me his email address, barney@bedrock.com. Okay, and so as we're going through here, I'm just going to fill out as much of this information as I possibly can. So we'll see the first name, last name. Maybe I don't know what company he works for, his job title, or any of those things, but maybe he did give me his phone number. I'm going to put a phone number in here. Okay, and then there is this amazing section here called Notes. This is really, really, really key, because what we are using Notes for is a variety of things, and the power of which is going to become very apparent here in a moment. But in Notes, I might say something like, met at the Christmas get-together, and he's interested in Power Chef. Maybe he's also interested in a Micro Pro Grill. Okay, and we're going to say he wants to host a party in June. Okay, so I might get this information the very first time that I come in and create this contact. Okay, just notes that will help me remember who Barney is, what he's looking for, and those sort of things. Because in an ideal situation, I'm creating new contacts every day. Every party, I'm collecting contacts. Every vendor event, every Facebook party, we're collecting these contacts, and it's impossible for us to remember all of this. So what we want to do is we want to get this into a digital format so that we could search it, so that we could share it down the road. So I put those items in the notes. And then one of the things you can see here is there's this more link in the bottom left corner of this create contact. So when I click on that, then I get a lot of extra information that I could put in here. I could put his address into here if I wanted to, if that was information I had. I can put his birthday in here if that was information I had. One of my favorites in here is this event section. This Google Contact says, hey, if there's an important event for you and Barney Rubble, you can put that in here. And what I like to use event for is I like to put something like, maybe his first party. I'm sorry. Let me try this again. The event, maybe his first party was on March 16th of 2018. So that was his first party, was in March. I'm going to go ahead and add another one. Then another event, maybe 2 months later, he had another party. Okay, so I can add events to this contact card. Relationships. Did I meet him through my kid's school, whatever it might be. As much information as you want to put in here that you think would help your business. The things to me that are the most important are their names, their contact info, email, phone number, and the notes. The notes are super, super important, and you'll see why here in a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and save that contact here. Click and save on the bottom right. And here's my saved contact, and you can see Barney Rubble. Here's all the pertinent information that I need. I can see his first party, second party, met at the Christmas get-together. So I've created that contact. Okay? Now, once we've created that contact, I can just leave and just disappear. Right? And then go about my business, adding another contact, doing whatever it is that I want to do. But what I like to do is really take that contact to the next level, really make it something that is useful for me. So the first thing I want to do, I'm going to go show you the search up here on the top. I'm going to type in Barney. And you'll see there's Barney Rubble. It looks like I've created him twice, so let me make sure. Okay, so this is the one I just created. You can tell I've done this training before. So this Barney Rubble contact here, I'm looking at this. It says, met at the Christmas get-together, interested in the Power Chef Micro Pro, host a party in June. Well, this is a key bit of information, hosting a party in June. What I want to be able to do is I want to, when I'm working my business, I want to be able to look at all of my contacts. You can say I have 1,100 contacts in here. I'm sure many of you have more than that. Wouldn't it be amazing if you could just say, hey, I'm starting to date parties in June. I want to go through my entire database of customers and find everybody who has said they are interested in a party in June. Right? Because we have that happen. We say, hey, do you want to book a party? Oh, no, I can't because I'm going to be out of town for 2 weeks, blah, blah. But why don't let's do something in June. Well, you may not be dating parties in June at that point in time, but what you want to make sure you do is you circle around and talk to that person when it's time to book those June parties. So what I'm going to do up here, there is this little 3-button little menu up here at the top that we're becoming more and more familiar with in these systems. And you're going to see there's this labels sort of system right here where I can create labels. Okay. Now, what I want to do is I want to add a label to this contact that is June parties. So I'm going to edit this contact. When I come into this contact here, we're going, oh, no, I'm sorry. We don't want to edit this contact. I already have a label right here set up for June follow-ups. Okay, so I'm going to label this as June follow-up right here. So now Barney Rubble, you can see the little checkbox that showed up there. Barney Rubble is now part of my June follow-ups list. And you'll see here, it added this little tag to his contact for June follow-ups. All right, so what I'm going to do is let's pretend, so I'm going to go ahead and close Barney Rubble down here. Okay, I'm going to go in here, I'm going to just add a couple people to June follow-ups, just to prove a point here. So let's pretend that Ada wants one, let's pretend that Adam here, he wants to do a June. Folks, people that have hosted for you before. Giving every contact those labels gives you the ability to very quickly come in and go through all of your contacts and say, show me everybody that's hosted for me before. Show me everybody that's interested in a fundraiser. Show me everybody that's wants to do a party in June, right? So that's super, super powerful, because can you imagine going through your address book or your sticky notes and looking for that information? Okay, so that can be difficult to do that. So what's another powerful part of this? So I've got in here my June follow-ups. Here's the nine. Is it 9? Looks like 9. 9 people that were tagged for that. So watch this. By using this Google ecosystem, I can very quickly come through here and select individuals in here. Say, okay, these are the people I'm going to reach out to. In fact, why not? I just reach out to all of them. All right. So I've selected the people that are in this group, and I'm going to click on this email box, this email icon in the top right, and I'm going to send them an email saying, hey, I know we talked before about doing a party in June. Would you like to go ahead and get something on the calendar, or the first 3 people that are booking in June are going to get this extra special thing, whatever it might be, so that you can very quickly send those messages straight from here. So what have we done? We've taken 1,100 contacts and we've said, show me the 9 that are interested in June parties and send them an email. And we did all of that within about 5 minutes. That's pretty powerful. To be able to do that with very few clicks and very little time invested. So that's the labeling sort of system. That's the way I like to use labels and process those items. Once you get into this system and you start sort of using Google Contacts to manage this, one of the things you'll notice is there's some fantastic benefits to this. So let me take a step back here. I'm going to go back to all of my contacts here. So there's 1,100 contacts here, and you can see it's a mile long, right? So let's pretend that you got information that, hey, the Say Yes gift next month is the MicroPro Grill. Let's pretend that that's the situation. And you say, okay, you know what? I know that there are some people that are in my contacts that have been interested in the MicroPro Grill. And what a great time to let them know that, hey, next month or starting yesterday or whatever, the MicroPro Grill is the Say Yes gift. Let's go ahead and get you into the system. You've been talking about maybe being a Tupperware consultant. Now, one of the most expensive items in the catalog is the Say Yes gift. And so how can we solve that problem? Well, if you've been steadfast in using your notes, and in your notes section, you're putting in information such as where you met them, maybe information about who their family is, whatnot, and you've included their wish list, right? So you've typed in the wish list into the notes section. When I come up here to search, if I just type in MicroPro, I'm going to get a list of everybody that has that in their wish list. And I think I usually put a space in there. Let's see. Nope. Okay, there's Barney Rubble. Let's just type in grill. Okay, so now here's everybody: Elvis Presley, Jane and John Doe, SpongeBob SquarePants. Here are all of the folks that in the notes it says MicroPro Grill. So how do we know this? Well, I'm going to click on Adam here. I can see right here in the notes, MicroPro Grill. Daughter attends Brooklyn School. Wants a party in March. Let's see here. Mr. Elvis Presley. He wants a pressure cooker, a MicroPro Grill, and he likes Freeze-Its. Right, so now all of a sudden I have a list out of all 1,100 contacts. Here are the 6 people that have told me on their wish list they have the MicroPro Grill. So rather than spending your efforts necessarily and trying to reach out to hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people, you have your hot list right here. Now, do you want to just stop there? No, of course not. You're still going to work with other people that are in your customer database. But here's the ones that I would start with. I would start with the people that are right here because they've already had that item added onto their wish list. Okay. So additional benefits to using this particular system. I'm going to click on Adam's contact here, and I want to show you a couple of things that Google will start to take care of. Notice here, that here are the emails that I have sent to Adam. Okay, now I'm using Google Gmail for my email. So this particular feature may not work for everyone. But one of the things I really like about it is I like Google. I'm an Apple user, actually, but I really like Google's software. And so it's really handy to be able to come in here and see, okay, here's the emails that I've sent to this person. And so I can go back and look at those particular emails and use them as a point of reference when I'm contacting them. Speaking of contacts, Ange, do we have any questions? Are we good?
No, I have a question.
Okay, good. All right, so I'm going to show a couple of other items that I really think are useful in working with Google Contacts for your Tupperware business. Excuse me. One of the ones I really like is using it as a contact log. And so here I have these events. So I'm looking here at Barney Rubbles again. This is the one we just created. I can see here that first party was in March, second party was in May. And I read this. So I have enough information now that I can call and say, Barney, hey, what's going on? Man, it just seems like yesterday we were at that Christmas get-together. I'm just thankful that I don't have to eat any more of that fruitcake that Barbara made. Ha ha ha. Anyway, I know you had a party in March, and I know it was a real successful party. And I know you wanted to have that other party in May, and we put that party together too. It seems like you're looking to party almost every other month because of all the great specials and stuff going on. Have you thought about maybe becoming a consultant? I mean, it's really silly for me to make this money when you could be making this money, you know. And then you can start your funnel process from there. If Barney is, resistant to the idea of becoming a consultant, then you can say, okay, well, if you want to just continue having parties, I'd love to host your parties. New catalog, new brochures come out. Should we put something on the books here for November? So having this information at your fingertips is super, super powerful. And speaking of fingertips, how many of you have one of these? A smartphone. All right? Most everybody has a smartphone. And what's fantastic about Google Contacts is it is a cloud-based tool. So this information is not on my computer. This information is in the cloud. So that when I'm working my business in the minutes, which how many of us do that, right? You're waiting for your kid's dentist appointment, you're picking your kid up from school, they're at football practice or whatever it might be, and you have 10 minutes, 20 minutes to sit down and do something. Oftentimes we're pulling out our mobile device and we're, hammering out an email or sending a text message or whatever it might be. How powerful would it be to have all of this information in Google Contacts stored in this device? So when you go through and work these systems, you have that information in the cloud and it's literally at your fingertips. Now, if you're on an Apple phone like myself, there are a couple of extra steps in order to get the Google Contact information to sync with your phone, and we're not going to cover that today. But it's really not all that difficult, and it's super, super awesome to be able to do that. One of my favorite things is that when somebody calls on the caller ID, you're talking to them on the phone, you could be reminding yourself of how you met this person. So when a customer calls you and says, hey, I have a warranty, da-da-da-da-da, and you're sitting there telling them things like, hey, how's your kids doing? Last time we talked, I think they were doing a soccer championship. How did that turn out? They're going to be blown away, you guys. They're going to think to themselves, how did she remember that? And it's like, no, of course I didn't remember that. I'm just leveraging some technology to help remind me of who you are and the fact that little Timmy and Sarah were in the soccer championship. That's great customer service, you guys. And if you only had 20 or 30 customers, you might be able to store that all up in your brain. But as most of you do, you have hundreds, if not thousands of contacts. So leverage some technology to allow you to remember what's going on in their lives and provide that really top level of service. Okay, so what have we covered thus far? We've covered what Google Contacts is. It's a contacts, hence the name, management system. We've covered how do you add a contact. You click down here on the plus sign, you fill in information here, the key bits, obviously the name, the contact information, and please, please, please use the notes. because the notes, all of the information you put into here is searchable. So please make sure you're using the notes. If you're missing some fields, you just click on the more icon in the bottom left, and you get lots of additional bits of information that you can add in there, including the events, which I think is probably the next most important item in this list. And so we've covered that. We've covered the fact that you can create labels. Oh, you know what? I didn't show you how to create a label. So over here in the labels, this part's very easy. When you click on labels, it shows you the labels, and then there's a button that says create label. When you click on that, it's going to ask you which label, what's the title of this label. We'll call this November Party. You say OK, and now you can see November Parties has been added to my list of labels. So then I could start to label folks in there. So we talked about labels. We talked about the search and how great the search is, so that if I, at any point in time, am looking for people who are interested in Fridge Smarts, I can see SpongeBob and Jane Doe both have Fridge Smarts in their wish list. So I now have a shortened list of people to contact. One of the items we did not cover here, and that is in the More section, is to import and export these. And the reason I'm not covering this is because this part isn't awesome. Out of all of this is the part that's probably the least awesome. And the reason for that is Google Contacts is very specific on the data that you import in. So when I click on import here, it's going to ask me, who do you want to import contacts from? Now, if you have Yahoo or Outlook or AOL or some other email provider, it will do a pretty good job. If you're trying to bring these in using a CSV file, which is what we do, because we're pulling data from our Tupperware database to pull into here, or maybe your TW Trends or whatever, that takes a little bit of time and effort. But the good news is it's worth it, because once everything is in here, to be able to have access to all of that on here, to have the wish lists on here, and have all of this synced to the cloud is super, super worth it. By a long shot. So the last, I think this might be the last thing I want to cover, is the duplicates. And so when you import data in, or you've seen, sometimes, like I had Barney Rubble in there 2 times. Google Contacts has this great duplicates function. So if I click on duplicates, it's going to show me, here are all the duplicates that are in your system. And I'll see here, look, Barney Rubble is in here 2 times. Well, what do I want to do? Do I want to dismiss this or merge this? I'm going to merge these records here, and it's going to make one Barney Rubble record. And notice what happens. It put both phone numbers in there, right? So it didn't delete a contact. What it did is it merged the 2 together. Now when I look at here, both phone numbers are in there. Both sets of notes are in here. Okay, so the merge works really, really well to get rid of those duplicate contacts and keep your list nice and tidy. Okay, well that, I think, is about it. So I don't know if we have any unanswered questions.
There were no questions. They were having some connect issues.
Oh, some connection issues. So I'll hopefully... so this is being recorded, obviously, Facebook Live. And so you can always go back and watch this later. Now, I have a challenge. Everybody likes a challenge, right? So what we're doing for this particular challenge is I'm looking for, by Friday at midnight, anybody to take 10 contacts, put them into Google Contacts with contact information and wish lists. So you have to have at least 10 contacts in your Google Contact system, complete with the wish list and all the contact information. And what I want you to do is comment on this video something to the effect of, I added 10 Google Contacts. Let's just go with that. I'll make it easier. So you're just going to comment that says, I added 10 Google Contacts. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a person out of everybody that entered that in for a prize. I think we're doing a $10 Amazon gift card. Woo-woo. And so, And so what I'll do is I'll draw a winner from that, and then the winner will just need to send me screenshots of the fact that they actually did do that, and then we're going to do a $10 gift card for them. Because I really do think, you guys, that this is something that you're going to want to jump on. You're going to want to be consistent with this, and I just think it can help grow your businesses. So that's about it. I really appreciate everybody joining. The next session I believe we are doing is the Facebook session, which is going to talk about Tech Bootcamp for Facebook on how to post things, how to talk about pages versus groups, and how to schedule posts and all that wonderful stuff. So really appreciate you guys spending the last half hour with me. And if there is anything else, any other questions, my email address is right up there, travis@growblooms.com, or you can hit me up on Facebook. FSRC, it was a pleasure, a lot of fun hanging out with you guys today, and we'll see you in a week. Bye!